Hi, my loves. How's it going? How you guys doing? Welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you've seen me before. I've been having such a rough time with project planning throughout 2025. I think I've mentioned in some of my previous videos. If not, you probably see it in my one of my other project plan videos that I'll talk about later on. I did have a really hard time with project planning throughout 2025. I was ill for a lot part of it, both physically, like my immune system was just so rubbish. Like I was ill for so many months, and I was ill so many times too. And I didn't even leave the house except for the weddings that I attended, and maybe a few times I've been out with my friends. So beyond me, but I also spent a lot of time being really unwell due to my mental health, and I had a really hard time with project planning throughout 2025. And I also think I did too many projects at one time, so it was just too much for me to realistically handle and take on. So that did not help in any capacity. So I have decided to change the way that I plan and how I'm going to be planning throughout 2026. I've decided that I want to do like a rolling project plan, which means there's no end time scale for when I'm going to be done with this project plan, which takes away that pressure of like trying to plan. At least I find it really stressful if in my head I'm like, I want to plan, say that the project plan is by the end of the year, and I've got like, say, like a blush or like a highlighter or like any product. I'm like, oh my god, like I'm only use it this many times, like this at the other. It plays in my head too much, and I feel like it just stresses me out. And project planning should never be something that stresses you out. Makeup shouldn't stress you out. It should be more fun and just enjoyable. And I feel like for me, like rather than doing doing project plans that always like have the time scale of using up within the year, I should really do something that's just rolling. And I've seen a lot of other people just do like constant rolling project plans, and I generally feel like that's the easiest thing for me to do. For this project plan, I will have 15 items, and it will just be constantly 15 items, and there's no ending unless I decide that I'm no longer interested in project planning at all. And then I might just like stop project planning stuff, and then you might not see any more project plans. But until it doesn't get to that point, this will be a running project plan until I decide otherwise. I've picked out 15 products, and I'm gonna try to pan as many of my old products, but I will try to balance out and add in some new products that I've gotten throughout 2025 and 2024, and obviously if I buy anything in 2026 as well, which I'm hoping I don't, because I am going to be going on a no buy for most part of 2026. I just have too much stuff. I've been buying like crazy over the last couple of months. I was supposed to be in a no buy for 2025, and I kind of gave up by the time I got around to June. I was almost clear on my debt, and then I fell back off of that. So like I really need to work on bettering my spending, plus how I see makeup and how I manage my spending habits and just coping mechanisms and just everything else. And the end goal is realistically for planning to work and to be successful, I need to stop buying more products. But in order for me to stop buying more products, I need to enjoy what I have rather than feeling stressed or guilty for having things like this. So they kind of go both hand in hand for me. And I really just need to like work on the emotions surrounding that. I will also try and do a no buy for most part of 2026. It's just going to be a replacement only no buy, which just means if I use up an entire category, like miraculously, say for instance, like mascaras or foundations or concealers, I can then go ahead and just buy one. I don't really experiment with a lot of like products. The only ones that I really experiment with is typically things like eyeshadows, highlighters, sometimes lip products, and then blushes. Otherwise, for everything else, it's just usually like a one item that I pan at once, and then once that's done, I then move on to the next product. Otherwise, for the few that I mentioned, those are the only ones I really experiment with. Based off of that, I really want to reduce my total inventory numbers down, and I will definitely be doing an inventory post for 2026. And I'm genuinely disgusted in myself because where some of these numbers were almost very much close to being down to one or two, or maybe like less than five, I've ended up buying stuff, and my inventory just kind of exploded, and I'm really struggling with fitting everything back into the drawers. I'm gonna avoid trying to like pan mascaras or use mascaras as within my project pans, because I feel like mascaras don't really make sense. Like I only ever use one mascara at a time anyway, and they tend to like dry out within like 3 to 6 months, and by 6 months or at least 9 months you should really replace them anyway. So I feel like that would be really pointless for me to do it with mascara. So that's something that you won't really see in here. You'll probably see me talk about any mascara empties in my actual like empties videos, which I'll still try and do for you guys. And I also want to do and consider doing a shop mustache. Again, that's something I will see how I feel like doing and if I feel like doing it. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to get that off my chest a little bit. But yes, this is going to be a 15 item rolling project pan. So as I mentioned, there are going to be 15 products in this project pan, and for the most of the time I would like this project pan to be here so that I can actually use up the product completely. So with some of these items it will take me months, some items will actually take me years, some items might only take me like a couple of weeks. It just depends on the product, the formula of the product, how what the size of it is, and just various other things like that. And if I've potentially been using this product before I roll this into this project pan as well. So based off all of that, some things will be here for a very short period of time, some might only be here for like one update, some might be here for a couple of months, some will be here for years. And there's like two things in particular that will take me years to use, and honestly I'm okay with that because this project plan doesn't have like an end time frame to it. I think I feel less stressed about it, so even if I go months without probably using the product, I think I'll actually be okay. I'm going to start off with this elf product first. So this primer I've had since I think 2023, and I bought it thinking I'd be able to use it over 2024 and then also to that 2025. I've only recently started using it in the last couple of months, and I think that tells me all I really needed to know about my spending habits, which is I don't need that many backups of products because some items will take me months to get around to. Also, I've had other primers I've used instead of this. I bought two of these elf primers and I used one which took me like months to use, I think throughout 2024 as well. I don't think I use it this year, but it took me a very long time to use. And then I've still got so much left of this, but also I feel like this product has expired. And I've found, at least with me using products from e.l.f., that they tend to expire very, very quick. And even if you don't open a product from e.l.f. and you only leave it for a year, or even a couple months, the product will still expire. So they have a very short shelf life. And because of that reason, even though the brand is fairly affordable, it just means that it's no longer worth spending your money on a product. That alongside with, you also kind of realize you don't need that many products. So I typically only have 1 to 2 primers open at one time. One will always be like an eye primer, but the other one will be two face primers. One is usually like a deeper, like hydrating product so that I use in the colder months when my skin is more drier. And then I'll have a one other primer. So this one I'm currently using is like a groupie primer, and I do like this. I do feel like they help my foundation last a little bit longer and stop me from being too oily. And I think it just depends on what you sort of feel about a product. I do like using this. I think it's been quite fun to use, but I'm literally about here, so that's all I have left. This will take me a good couple of months to use. It will take me a while, which I'm not complaining about. It's not a bad product, and I already have some other primers in my backup. I was actually considering buying a primer, and I thought, no, this literally will last me at least a whole entire month and then some. And then after that, I have so many other primers. Like, I don't need to buy any more until at least Black Friday. Like, I'm fine. So I'm trying to like just keep that at the back of my mind. But this is one of the products I really want to use up. And this is my oldest face primer. So it will be nice just to have this one gone. The next category of products I'm planning is a whole bunch of lip products. I'm very heavily invested in panning as many lip products as I can this year. I was really slow in terms of panning throughout 2025, and I think I've used maybe 40 products throughout the year, and that's really sad because normally I can do easily like 70 plus. And it's such a shame that for this year I didn't really pan that much and didn't really use makeup as well as I would have liked to. But this year I do also really, really want to just use up as many lip products as I can. So I've decided on these because a lot of them already have a lot of progress and some of these are very easy to use. So the first thing I'll just talk about is this lip pencil. This is a shade BFF from Colourpop, if it would kind of like to open. This is all I have left, this tiny itsy bitsy stuff. I know for a lot of people when they get to that point they tend to like call it NMT. I like to call it NMT once I'm no longer able to sharpen this, and I love this colour so much as well, and I think that's why I want to just completely use this up. Do I need any more lip pencils after this? No, I don't need any more lip pencils for the next like 5 years, 5+ years actually. I have so much stuff as it is. I love this color, I love the formula of these. I bought this as like a set, and I feel like you only need a set if you are truly just gonna actually you have no lip liners and you feel like you're going to use all the colors that you buy, and you actually use lip liners with everything. Because I know some people don't like to use a lip pencil, that's absolutely fine. I have this as a goal, or at least I had this as a goal to use up for 2025. Didn't meet it, which is fine, but I would love to actually use it up now for 2026. And I think this is something that might only take me a month or two to use at most, so obviously not that long, but it would still be nice to have this empty. And I have so many lip pencils I want to move on to after this one, and it would just be nice to just have this gone. And it's a creamy formula, but these are starting to dry out because they're so old. And these formulas are also some of the oldest I have in my collection, so it would just be nice to have them used up. I want to try and pan this lip clay thing from Kaleidos. This is the shade Mahogany, and I tried to pan this during 2025, but I feel like I made a lot of progress because all I really have left is like, you can't really see, but it's down here because I scraped all the sides and I already took the stopper out. But this is so old that it's actually started to dry out. You can kind of sort of see there, but it's just really dark to probably show you guys. So I've definitely, and you can see on here that it's like kind of drying down. I've used up a lot of this. I feel like I can definitely use it up by the end of 2026. I think maybe even a couple months into 2026 I might be able to use it up, but it's going to be one of those products I need to like remember to actually like adapt into an eye look so that I can use this up properly. And if I do that, and if I remember to use it up even like once or twice a week, I can then definitely get through this, and that will take me a couple of months to get through this. And it would just be nice to have a liquid lipstick as an empty, even though this is actually drying. So yeah, but as long as I can get as much use out of this as I can, that'd be great. Here's another product I was panning throughout 2025, and I actually did get quite a lot of use out of this. This is the Victoria Beckham lipstick in the shade Pout, and I really like this. It's a beautiful colour. This is literally all I have left. That is literally all I had left, and I love this colour. I love the formula. I love the feel of this product on my lips, but it's a creamy product, so I do feel like it disappears quite fast too. And I use up about half, if not just a little bit over half of this product. I don't think this will last me that long because I typically tend to gravitate towards this quite often. It's a nice, like, lighter sort of colour, which I'll just swatch for you. So that's actually what it looks like, and it is beautiful. And I like the packaging of this too. It does feel luxe, and it gives luxe as well, and it's heavy duty. Like, it's a heavy product, and you know that if you're spending a luxury price, you're kind of also getting like a luxury like feel to the product too. And I really like this. I can definitely see myself repurchasing this trade again. Obviously, do I need to do that just yet? No, I don't need to buy anything new for like when it comes to lip products for the next like 10 years because I have so many. But I love this color. I love the formula. There is a potential that I could repurchase this once this is done because I actually really love that, and that's a beautiful pink shade. And I don't always gravitate towards pinks, but that's a really beautiful pink, and I love pairing it with other products. It just chef's kiss. The last lip product is this Colourpop Just a Tint, and this is the shade Z Boys. The reason I want to pan this is because it's actually very easy to use up, and I need a lot. So obviously this is like a tint, but it is also kind of like a very creamy formula. So it feels like a kind of like a lip balm. That's just what it looks like. And these two are very similar. I just feel like this one needs a bit more brown compared to this one, whereas this one's more pink. But I went out with my friend a couple of days ago, and I ended up using this as a lip product. This doesn't, it's not that long lasting, so I feel like I needed to constantly top this up. But this is literally all that's in here. And you're telling me I can't use it up in a couple months? I for sure can use it up in a couple months, and I will use it up in a couple months. Um, Obviously, I'm going to try and balance out the various lip products I have in various projects, but this is a beautiful. It's a really lovely formula in the sense of it sits beautifully on the lips. It's not heavy. It's a lightweight product. It does actually feel hydrating. It's no longer available as far as I saw, and it does give a nice like tint to lips, which you can like build up, so it kind of gives more of a payoff in terms of color. Obviously, this will work more as like a lip tint for perhaps somebody who's got like really pale skin. But I really like this color too, and I feel like I can get this used up quite quickly, and it'll be very nice to have one less item in my lip crown like inventory because I have so many lip crowns I'm not really using, and this would be really nice to have used up. In terms of eye products, I have two, technically three, but these are the two that I'm going to talk about first. So, first things first, I'm using this blush, like Made by Mitchell blush, which is like an actual blush, as like an under eye color corrector. So, this is the shade Melon Sorbet. So, you can kind of see the windowing here on this side. So, that's basically what I've used up, but I'm marked on the other side because that's where I originally marked it from. And I've made progress enough that I feel like in the next couple of weeks I need to take the stopper out of this. And I pretty much use all the time, or majority of the time when I do my makeup, except for today because I was so lazy, and I need to like batch film so much content. So that's why. But I like this, and I feel like I can have this used up in the next sort of couple of months because I've made so much progress in this, and I'm pretty much using this all the time that I'm doing makeup. Obviously there will be some months in the year where I don't do much makeup at all, particularly in the summertime, but then there's other months like I've had in like November and December where I've done my makeup pretty much half the time in a month, which is a lot of makeup like for somebody like me who doesn't always do that much makeup, and I've loved that, and I've actually fairly enjoyed using this up as an under eye color corrector. Would I necessarily buy these again as an under eye corrector? No. The only reason I did that is because I needed an under eye color corrector earlier on this year because I used up the other one that I had, and this blush seemed like the perfect color for me. Also, it made sense for me to use this because I wouldn't have used it as a cream blush, so I still got to use up a product completely as a color corrector rather than neglecting it as a blush. So yeah, I'm glad that I've been able to replace it and use it in a different way. But I wouldn't necessarily go out and buy this one again. I do have another color corrector anyway, so I don't need to go and like rush out and replace anything just yet. The other eye product is this lilac eye pencil from NYX. I've had this for several years now as well at this point, and this is how much is actually left of the product. So I have made a dent with this throughout the year of 2025. However, I really want to get more use out of this. It's a really nice, like, icy lilac-y color, as you can see here, but I don't always remember to use this product much. But whenever I do really like this. So yeah, it would be really nice to sort of have this as another product that I try to use up. This will take me months, probably the whole year and then some to use, which again I'm fine with. But because this product is old, there is always a chance that I might have to throw this away before I can fully use this, because I have very sensitive eyes, and as soon as a product is starts to like irritate my eyes, it's got to go because waterworks start and it's just a whole like thing. So there's no point. So I'm going to use this for as long as I can, and then it'll either be completely empty or it'll have to go in the bin because it's beyond expired. So it'll be nice to have some more progress on this one too. In terms of like cheek type products, I actually have a lot, and some of these are products I've been panning throughout the year of 2025. So the first thing I'll talk about is this this face powder from Dior. This is where I'm at now. So this is literally all that I've left, and you can see that I've hit the metal parts on like the grid parts on some of these as well. But the problem I've had with this powder is it gets hard pan very quickly no matter what you do. So the brush can be completely clean, and as I'm rolling this through, you'll get hard pan. My other light just died, so I don't really have a choice to use the other lighting that I have, and it's not that strong, and it sucks because it's winter time. There's something we can really do. But as I was saying, this product isn't really the best in terms of like no matter what you do, it will get hard pan very quickly, and it's been really frustrating. But the good thing is it's lasted me for a very long time. The thing is, I don't want to have this around for the summertime again because one, it's not really long lasting, in terms of it's not, because I have oily skin. It's not something that's going to help me keep the oils at bay. It's not made for that. It's not made for people who have got oily skin. I know people have said that since this product, I bought this back in 2022, I want to say. If not 2022, 2023 is one of those 2 years, because that's when I went completely crazy about buying Dior products. But this product, it's got like a nice satiny finish to it, and that looks beautiful, and it gives you like a really nice sort of like subtle like glow, but it just looks so beautiful. But that's not really worth how much hassle this is actually giving me as a product. So I can't wait to be completely done with this, and hopefully that's within the next couple of months, because this product has actually been getting on my last nerve and it's not fun anymore. The next two products are both cream products, and these are both from Charlotte Tilbury. So we've got the highlighter in the shade Pillow Talk, which I think is just like the OG Pillow Talk that they have, and I've actually used up a good chunk, so that's literally all I have left. And what I've done is I've actually taken off the really weird fluffy thing on the top. So what I'll just do is I'll put some on my cheeks on both sides, and then I'll like use a brush to just spread it all over my face, and then I use my foundation on top of that. But this gives like a really nice like glow from within look, and it just makes my skin look really glowy and dewy, and I love the way that that feels and it looks, and it's the best way for me to use this up, because I don't like using a liquid highlighter on top of powder because I feel like it doesn't always work for me. So for that particular reason, I do feel like I have to then use this underneath my foundation, which is fun because it still works and it just gives a nice effect to the skin. But because this product is getting old and because it is expensive and I just spend a lot of money on this, I think I got this back in 2023. So it would be nice to actually have this used up, and that's literally all I have left. And I think I can actually use this up in the next like 3 to 4 months. That's more than doable for me. So it would just be nice to have one less expensive liquid highlighter. Another Charlotte Tilbury product is this Hollywood Pink Gasm Sunset liquid blush. And the thing with this blush, I've still kept the fluffy thing on here. It's not as like, so that's what it looks like, which looks beautiful. But when I put this on my face, on my cheeks, sorry, it looks very sheer and it just blends out into like a very sheer sort of product. So for that particular reason, I wouldn't necessarily go back out and buy this again. It does look beautiful in the sense that the color is lovely and I do love it, but it's more of a like a it's not as sort of much coverage, at least as this, as I last remember. And it's been a long time since I've used this. So there is a chance that my opinion on this blush could be completely different now. Because I don't think I've used this at all throughout 2025. And I don't know if I've even used this in 2024, which says a lot. So yeah, it would just been really nice to have this used up because again, this is an expensive product. I did spend a lot of money on this, and it would just be nice to have one less sort of high end product in my collection that's gonna like I'd rather use it up than it expiring and me having to toss it. So yeah, I do have a lot. So that's literally everything that's still there that needs to be used up. But I think I can. I think I can use this by the end of the year. Obviously, it might take me longer than that because, like I said, I don't really use as much liquid products as I do like powdered products. So we'll definitely see how this goes. I do need to figure out the best way for me to use this as well. So again, it's going to be a learning process for me because, like I said, I've not used it in a long time. So let's see what happens with that. So staying on theme with the blushes and like just cheap products. This is my Pan That Face palette for 2025. So I used up one Pan That Face palette by June, and I've had this in since June, but I only really started using this in July. This is where I've gotten to now. I've been able to repress the blush, which is fantastic. And the highlighter has a really big pan in it too, which is fantastic as well. The problem with the highlighter is it's a little bit too deep for me, so I have to be light-handed with the highlighter, which means the highlighter will be around for much, much longer than the actual blush. And I have two other face palettes from e.l.f. that I really want to use up. I think they may have discontinued these. At this point, I don't even care anymore. Like, I don't want to buy from e.l.f. And I just want to use up everything that I have from them. So it'll be really nice for me to just use this up. And once this is done, I'll try to use up the highlighter as like an eyeshadow too. But typically, what I do is get a bit of highlighter, put it in my inner corner of my nose and in my cheeks. But I have to be really careful because when I put it on my cheeks and my nose, it can sometimes look like there's a shadow on my face when I look straight like this. So yeah, I have to use less of the highlighter, which is annoying. Because it just means that it just takes me that much longer to use. But as long as I can use that, that'll be great. And once I'm completely done with this, then I'll roll in the like one other e.l.f. palette, and then that should, yeah, hopefully by the end of like next year I can use all of these up, or even the end of 2030, whenever it is. Like, I don't care, I just want to get all of them used up. So this is a highlighter I'm going to try and pan throughout this year, and hopefully next year if I need to, but hopefully I can be done with this year. I've been panning this for some time, and this is my focus of highlighters throughout 2025 because it is my oldest highlighter in my entire collection, which is crazy to me. It's actually crazy to me, but I think I've done a really good job with this because not only have I expanded the pan to this size, I've also flattened a lot of it, and it's going to be really hard to sort of like see, but I hope you can kind of see through that. Like, I've definitely flattened, like all of this hair is so much flatter, which won't take me as long to use because what I'm doing is down, I'm trying to focus here whenever I do inner corner, and I've used this today, so that'll help me get to the corners. And all of this section here that's really flat, I'm using on my brush so I can put it on my cheeks, and that's how I'm trying to like expand the pan in both directions. And is I'm succeeding. I'm doing a good job at this. This will take me a long time to use. This is an 8 gram product. I've had this since I think 2020, maybe just before 2020. I've had this for a long, long time. I did a Morphe haul like donkeys years ago, so I don't know. I need to look back at the video, but I cringe watching my old content. I mean, I still cringe editing my content now, but it is what it is. I love this, but it's my oldest one, and it's kind of bittersweet because I want to use it up, but then I don't want to use it up because my oldest one. Then I kind of want to use it up because it's so old that it would be really nice just to have this as an empty, and this can be a relic. Also, RIP to Morphe because the old Morphe was really cool, but like they're just weird. And I don't think they've released any highlighters since they've like rebranded and done whatever. But this is actually beautiful, and the highlighter was so good. It's just such a shame that they did all that weird stuff. That being said, I actually can't wait to use this up completely. But again, we'll see how long it takes. Again, there's no pressure on using this, but since I've made so much progress throughout 2025, it would actually be really nice to have this as an empty, I think. Next is my bronzer, and I've been using this for most part of 2025, I want to say too. And I've gotten to a really good point where you can see that I've like pretty much used up as much as I can on this side, and I've also hit the center pan as well. So the most product left is on this side. I don't know how long it will take me to actually use this up. There is still product on this side that I can use, and this will, I generally do not think it will take me this long, but this is a 6.5 gram product, and I've been getting really frustrated. It looks beautiful, don't get me wrong. The formula, because it's baked, it has like a nice sort of like glow, like a satiny sort of look. So it's not glowy, but it does give a really beautiful touch to the skin. However, what I don't like about baked products is that they get hard pan very fast, and I feel like a lot of the times I'm wasting product because I've got to like use a wash tapes or like take off all the hard pan, but then it won't stay like that for a long time. So then like every other time I'm using this, I'm always getting hard pan, and it gets to a point it just gets very frustrating. And I think I'm getting very frustrated with the actual product. I do think it's beautiful, but the amount of effort that I have to then spend on it because it gets so much hard pan is just not worth it for me, in my opinion. So as much as I loved the actual like finish of this product, I can't see myself buying this one again. But I really want this done. I don't want to throw it away because I've used it so much. But it would be really nice if I could actually like use this up sometime soon. I think this would definitely take me another like four months, maybe longer than that. So we'll see. But hopefully by like June, I can make enough progress to call it an MT, because that'd be really nice. But it's getting to that point. It's starting to get on my nerves, and I want it done. I want it done. The last two products are both products that I do anticipate being in this project pan for well over a year, potentially 2+ years, which is absolutely fine with me. I'm not that fussed and I don't care so much because there's no like end a time frame for me, so that's fine. The first one is a blush from Flower Nose. This is what it looks like, and to be honest, it is a pretty pale blush, so it will be something that I may be able to fly past quickly. One, this is actually kind of like loosely pressed in here, which means that there is a decent chunk of kickback, which isn't that great, but if you're trying to like use up a blush really fast, it kind of works out in your favor. But in terms of worth it for the money that you spend on it, no. The other thing is, this is a paler blush for me, so I will have to use a lot more of this blush than somebody who was a lot fairer skinned to me. So I will also be, for that reason, I'll be able to get through this faster than somebody who's a lot fairer than me. So just keep that in mind as you see me planning this product. And again, I don't know how long this will take me. This can easily take me a year or so, or it might take me, it just depends on how often I feel like using this blush. It can be something I can use up within this year, but that would be that I mainly focus on this blush and that's it. Or it can be something that I just use whenever I feel like using it. It will take me like about 2 years to use, which again, I'm absolutely fine with. But I have so many blushes from Flower Nose that I really want to use some of these up. And I will rotate, I think, blushes in terms of using them up completely, like this, and then trying to maybe just hit pan and move it on to another blush. So you'll see me trying to like do this differently every time I bring in a different blush, depending on what the formula is and just how much I like the blush and just various other things. But this one I would love to use up because I have so many Flower Nose brushes, and I feel like this is going to be one of the easy ones for me to use because of the reasons I've kind of mentioned. But yeah, it'll be really nice to sort of have this as an empty, and these are 5 grams, so that's still like a good chunk of product. Like this is still like a hefty amount of blush. But yeah, it would be so nice to sort of have this as an empty, and I can't wait to sort of like just see progress with this throughout the year. That'd be kind of really nice. But yeah, I want this done. Last product is an eyeshadow palette, and now you might be thinking like, you've tried to pan eyeshadow palettes before, they take you so long, you have so many eyeshadow palettes, how's this going to work? The reason I've picked this particular eyeshadow palette is because this is my oldest eyeshadow palette in my entire collection, and I think this might be the only one that I've fully commit to panning the way that I want to pan it now. I love this color story. I love the packaging of this. It is so awesome. And I love these tones. I love the formula of this. I love how affordable this is. And I used to love Makeup Revolution at one point. I used to always shop from them, and I haven't really shopped much from drugstore in a very long time, especially with the eyeshadow palettes. I love this formula. I love this color story. And it's just the fact that this is my oldest palette. I kind of want to use this one up, and I feel like I can. There were so many other palettes I did consider putting into this project pan instead, but I decided to put in my oldest one in here just because, one, it's so old that if I don't use this, it's going to end up being trash. But two, I really want to just use up some of my really old stuff as well. I think that'd be kind of nice. But this was also my favorite at one point, and it's just such a shame that I stopped using this. As you can see, I already have a pan in this eyeshadow palette, which is great. And I do have like dips in some of the others, especially the shimmers. Now, some of these shades, if I just bring it closer to you, some of these shades are things that I will be able to use up a lot faster than others. This is like a really good example of a shade I can use up really quickly, even this one, and so with that one, and even potentially this one too. And there's definitely enough shades in here that I can use up quite quickly, that you'll see progress throughout, maybe even this year, that there might be some empty pans, or at least some more pans in the palette. With the others, though, obviously it will take me a lot longer, and that's where the process comes in. Well, this will be here for like several years, and I don't mind it being here for several years. I think because I love this palette so much at one point, I just want to be able to like play around with it more, because at the moment it's just in my drawer and I don't really gravitate towards it at all, because I'm always got so many other palettes on my desk that I'm trying to like use. But it would be nice to have something like a project that I can actually work on. I mean, this is all like project planning, but this will be like an actual project in itself for me to like try and use. And I love this so much, and I really just want to use this. I think I have others in the like collection that are similar color stories, but there's just something about this palette that I just want to use this. And I think I'm going to try and keep this around until either I get so bored and sick of it that I no longer want to use it anymore, or until this is completely gone. And I'm not going to stress about this too much. So it might just be, sometimes I might use this palette once in a month, sometimes I might go months without using this. It's fine. It's not an issue for me. It's just as long as I get to use this. And I've hit pan on the shade, and it didn't take me that long to hit pan on this as well. So I do feel like with some of these mattes, I can definitely like fly through them. The shimmers, like this one, I'm actually close to hitting pan on, and same with this one too. So it would just be nice to sort of get those used up, and it would just be fun, like a little like side quest for me to sort of go on. That's kind of like the main thing with this, and I can't wait to actually like get back into to use this. Actually, I think I'm a lot closer to hitting pan on this particular shade. So we'll see. We'll see what I do. But that's all the products that I'm going to consider panning. I'm sorry that the light just went from being a lot better to what this is now, because this lighting is rubbish compared to the other one, but the other one died, so that's that. But these are the 15 products I'm going to be focusing on until they're pretty much used up. There will be some products that I tend to roll in here that will be usage only, but it will just depend on what the item is. And sometimes it will just be to hit pan and move on, but with a lot of these products, it will be a lot of my really old stuff that I decide to roll in here, or it'll be just things that I want to move out of my inventory, or just various things like that. So the main focus of this project pan will be my older stuff that I tend to like sometimes neglect, that I want used up. Every now and again, I will put in a brand new product that I got either 2024 or 2025, just so I then also don't neglect the new stuff that I have. So I'm going to try and balance it out, but the main focus will be to use up some of the older products that I really want gone, and another focus is going to be on just lip products as well, because I feel like I really neglected that category throughout 2025. So I really want to pick that back up and kind of focus on lip products. And there are some that are very easy to use, and some formulas that are very quick to like get through. So it would just be nice to sort of have some more empties in that sense. And I'm actually really excited to be able to use this palette again. Obviously, keep in mind there's a chance like 2 months into now I'm like, yeah, fuck this, I'm done, and I no longer want to do this anymore. But we'll see how it goes. But I'm actually really excited to do a rolling star project pan, because I don't think I've ever done that, and I feel like that's what I really needed. So yeah, I guess stay tuned for further updates. There'll be one update per month, because that's all I can really handle. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to just getting some more use out of my collection, really.